Of course, it'll be up to the hands of the NFP in regards to what happens with USD today. Haven't really seen much downside since we last spoke. I've talked about price potentially breaking through this support level here and seeing some downside beyond that. We kind of teased the idea of breaking lower. Some candlesticks closing below, but nothing really concrete, nothing confident. And now price is looking somewhat bullish back above that area, and possibly, this could take us back to the high. I would not be surprised about that. So I'm a bit weary with that bearish USD bias, especially what price is doing now. In theory, I wanted the price to break through this and by today, already be confidently trading underneath and then looking for pullbacks and continuations. At the moment, because price is kind of dancing around, looking somewhat bullish, it might just be prices holding onto that support level and getting ready for another up move. So that could mean potentially bullish USD this afternoon or this morning, which could mean some more downside for euro, pound, and somewhat as well, which we'll get into in a moment. But yeah, USD holding onto that level. I still do like the high time frame level of where we're trading at, which is this big weekly level across the market here at 104.5. Has been really sturdy as resistance support in the past as well. So as we can see, really strong resistance support there as well. So I do like this area for a sell. And I do think the market is due a retracement. We've seen 1, 2, 3, 4 consecutive big candles to the upside. Market's a little bit stretched, and now we've come back into this area of confidence. I do think the market's likely to go for a bit of a breather, and that's kind of what has been the basis of me looking to long euro and take advantage of some upside. It's because I'm looking for dollar to take a bit of a breather. There's still some higher up levels which we could push into. The trend line up there, price could potentially stab into before move down. So I can see possibly a bit of a move higher. But at the moment, I'm going to see if that level can hold. And of course, NFP will play a big role in that. We did break out of that ascending channel, but it hasn't really amounted to much. And the key thing with that is that we've lacked momentum once the breakout has happened. Because breakouts are great, but really good breakouts are happen when we see a lot of momentum and price is really convincing. If the breakout's kind of 50-50, lacking momentum, a lot of wicks, there's not really a breakout you want to follow. And that's kind of been the situation here with USD. So I was kind of expecting to see price break the low and then show us momentum, but because it hasn't, it might mean another push to the upside is likely. So I'll be a bit wary of that with US dollar. Of course, I'm still long Euro USD. I have trailed my stops into a bit of profits. My stop losses here currently 1.08379. So I'm still bullish, locked in some gains. You can see what price gives us. We did get the break of the high there yesterday, which is what I said. I'll look to trail stops if we do get the closure above that high, which we did get. So I did trail stops, giving a little bit of room, but NFP, a lot can happen. We can see wicks up and down. So I'm not expecting much, but worst case scenario, do walk away with a small win. Best case scenario, if USD becomes very weak, we could be flying to the upside. So let's see what happens this afternoon. But the trade is managed, so I've done my part. I'm just letting the market do its thing. We're having a bit of trouble around this area here, but the key thing to me, which is why I got long, is this area of confluence, really strong level of support. We've got the high lows with the trend line, 1, 2, 3, anticipating that fourth. So there is that possibility for push back to those levels. And that's the reason why I got long. Now it's up to price whether it wants to continue that or potentially reverse and do something else. There could be some potential trades on the retest of this level here. So that could be an idea to look for a buy. That's a really nice high there. Price may come and retest that and go long. So possibly there could be some opportunities maybe later today if we see a big move down, or maybe early next week. And that could be an additional place to get long, which I might look at next week, but we'll have to see. But I'm not going to write off the euro long bias at the moment. It really does matter what the USD does give us. But taking that into other USD pairs like pound USD, for example, that had a bit of a melt to the downside yesterday. A really big move down there. Hasn't really amounted to much. Price is still kind of descending in this channel here. And I do expect it to eventually break higher because it's so corrective. And typically these type of price action means the market is getting ready slowly for a push higher up. So I'm looking for a bit of a move to the upside there for pound USD. We have come back into a nice level of support as well, which is this prior high on the left, taking that across. now going to be acting as support there again, or resistance now acting as support there again. So I do think we can see a bit of a push to the upside there for pound. The market's still corrective, coming into a big area like the wick down the daily chart. So I think some intraday trades back to the high look good. Beyond that, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe price rejects it, comes back down. Maybe we break through and look very bullish. We'll have to monitor that when that happens. But for now, I do think we can see a bit of a move to the upside there for pound USD. Across the board for the USD pairs, I do think retracement is still the play, but they are still looking pretty bearish. Aussie dollar, for example, still moving sideways, so it's difficult to buy this one, even though I do expect to see a bit of retracement. We're not really trading at much. At a big area of significance, so I'm not going to look to jump into that one. This is still where I do expect price to end up at. We might have a little bit of a breather first and then push down, which is why I've been talking about this low here. That looks like a nice place to short to me, around 0.663, and then possibly the move down, as the USD is already sold off pretty hard. So we're not too far away from this low. At the moment, I still do like the low over there, but we've left that in the dust. So I don't see price coming back to retest that. We might just kind of slowly push to the downside. So yeah, still looking pretty bearish with Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, but I think dollar CAD, I think Aussie and New Zealand dollar themselves have just been pretty bearish. And dollar CAD's going to be interesting to see how the weekly candle does close, because at the moment we've struggled to get a weekly candle closure above this level here. And at the moment, it's Friday. The weekly candle is still looking pretty bullish, and it looks like we might get a candle closure above that high there. Of course, NFP will have a big say, but we're looking pretty bullish, and maybe that's a sign of a breakout. I need a lot more for me to confirm that, but it could be the beginning of it. So definitely going to keep an eye on that. And of course, gold and silver, big moves to the downside for both of them, which I'm liking because it looks like they're going for a bit of retracement. Silver's looking more promising at the moment because we had a really big move to the downside for gold. I was looking for the retest of the high, but we didn't see any rejection of that high. Prices dropped straight through. So I'm not really interested in buying gold unless it were to come a little bit deeper and test this level here. But yeah, I was looking for a pop there at 27.60, didn't really react. Silver, on the other hand, is looking a lot better. We've got a lovely level here on the daily chart, which looks good. We saw a big drop to the downside, but we haven't broken through any key areas there as well. So I do think silver's looking the better of the two. Nice confidence there for silver as well. I'm waiting for some development. I probably want to enter after NFP anyway, so I'll wait patiently for that. But if I can see some wicks in here, that'd be great. And that's why I'll look to take some longs back to the high. So I'll probably say silver's the number one for me at the moment.